Hey guys, today what we're going to do is we are going to learn how to make an exploded assembly and assembly drawings in OnShape. So the first thing you'd want to do is to open up your assembly drawing that you're going to work on. There's a few other things that we are going to do that have to relate with the drawings, but one of the things that we're going to have to do is dealing with what's called a BOM table, a bill of materials. So over on the far right of your assembly screen, the very top little icon you'll notice it looks like a table. Well, defaultly, these are the only columns that you see. I have resized mine so that the item and the quantity are smaller, which is why they all fit on one screen. And my monitor is also a bit larger, so that is also doesn't hurt. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to make sure that we have the name of the different parts in here. So over here it says add column. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to select name. Defaultly, the new columns are listed at the end, so you'll probably have to scroll over to get to that column. Next, I'm going to right-click on the name of the column, and I'm going to move it to the left until it comes right after the items. The reason that I want to make sure that I have this set up right now is that when we go to do the assembly drawings, the columns and the table will be set up exactly as you see. So that is one of the things that we're going to do. Other thing that I want to show you guys, we are going to be creating an exploded view. So defaultly, you guys will see something like this, where it says add exploded view. So this is what it looks like when there's nothing there. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to add one. So I'm going to go ahead and add exploded view. You'll notice that you're in the edit. If you see this little box show up right here that says edit explosion 1. And this is the rollback bar. So if you need to move it so that you only see it to a certain point, then you drag this bar as you want. Now I started my assembly with the stick top pulled out a bit. And I did that on purpose is because that's going to make it a little bit easier for me to select my different parts that I want to move. So with an exploded assembly, you can select parts by over here on the model tree. You notice as you click it, it's either highlighted or it's not. Once you have parts selected, you should see these axes show up. And on top of the axes are these little dots. Well, what these indicate is if I click and drag on the arrows, it will move the parts that are highlighted in that direction. If I click and drag on the dots, it'll rotate those parts that are selected around that axis. So the whole point of an exploded assembly is that it's going to show all the parts separated. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag until that part is out. If you want to see the lines, then you leave this checked. If you don't, you leave it unchecked. And after each step, hit the check mark. So I'm going to hit the check mark, and then I'm going to deselect a part. So in this case, you notice I deselected the top. And I'm going to keep selecting and deselecting parts until I get all of my parts moved and separated from one another. Again, make sure that you guys are hitting the check mark after each one, not add exploded view. And if you need to go back and edit a step, you can always go back and edit a step. So like here, you see how the rollback bar allows you to see where there might be a missing step or that. Okay, so that's, you can see there's a total of 9 steps. So one step for each part that's moved. And then once you're done with everything, go ahead and hit done. And once you hit done, you'll notice that it goes back to its normal position. Everything's still here. You still have an exploded view. It's just when you're outside of the exploded view, you don't see it. Now, in order to make the drawing work well, we also have to create something that's called a named view. So the named view is just simply one that is not one of the normal top, right, side, etc., 6 views, or the isometric. So if you want something that's different, that's something that you defined, you have to create a named view. So to do that, on the bottom, on the little cube that's below the view cube, you select named view. Make sure that your screen shows the view that you want, and you're going to give it a name and then hit the plus sign. And then that will give you a view that is what you've named. And that's going to be important when we go to add a drawing. So like you can see here, this is my named view. So my view orientation was my name view here, and I chose explode, sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to create that particular drawing there. So I'm gonna go ahead to the plus sign here. I'm gonna go ahead and create a new drawing. I'm going to leave it at ANSI A. Go ahead and hit OK. Now remember, we don't have a part, so we have to go to our assembly. Go ahead and select your assembly. Then once you've selected your assembly here, we're going to have to choose a new orientation. So I'm going to choose my named view. Now, when I choose my named view, you notice it's still all together. So in this case, I do want my exploded view, so I'm going to have to hit Explode 1. Now, once it gives me the preview, you'll notice that the preview shows that it's bigger than my page. So I need to also adjust my scale. Once I have all that changed, again, I gave the view orientation to my named view. I chose Explode 1 as the explode position, and then I modified my scale. Now I'm going to go ahead and click to place it. And I'm going to need to put in a table and callouts. So if you are on a Chromebook, your screen's probably a lot smaller than mine. So the callouts in the table are going to be the drop down where you see the A, the note. So I'm going to go ahead and put my table in. So I'm going to go ahead and select BOM table. I'm not going to change anything in my settings here, but I am going to put it at the upper right corner of my page. You can readjust some of these sizes of the columns if you'd like. I'll leave that up to you guys. So I have my bill of materials table. And I have my exploded assembly view. Now I need to label what part goes with the names. So I'm going to do that with callouts. Again, if you don't see the callouts, it's in the drop down with the notes. I'm going to go ahead and do callout. I'm going to click on one of my parts, and then I'm going to click to place the bubble. Click on the part, click on your bubble. And you're going to do that until you have all 9 parts labeled. Then once you have all 9 parts labeled, go ahead and click the check. Now the final thing I'm going to ask you guys to do, so this is what we have for our exploded assembly views. The final thing I'm going to ask you guys to do, over on the left side, you'll see an icon that looks like paper. If you go ahead and click that, that'll expand your Sheets menu. At the very top of the Sheets, I'm going to insert a sheet. It gives me a new drawing. I'm going to ask you guys to do part drawings for each of the 9 parts after you do your assembly. So to do that, once you have a new sheet, go ahead and select Insert View. So it's the icon directly to the right of the yellow arrow. And then in the menu that comes up, go ahead and select Insert, and then Other Documents. Browse till you find the file that you want. You might have to adjust your view orientation to be something that you like for your front view. Then go ahead and place your different views. Then escape out of the constraint once you're on there. I am going to ask you guys on the tangent edges, it's actually best to leave it as hidden in your part drawings. I'm also going to ask you guys to make sure you have your hidden lines showing. You may want to have some alternate views. So you might end up with a section view or an auxiliary or a detail. So this is something that you guys are going to have to look at to say, okay, what views are beneficial? Do I just need one? Do I need two? Do I need multiple? So that's what you're going to do. So again, for each part, you go to Insert Sheet, then Insert View. Once you're in the Insert View, select Insert again. Go to your Other Documents, Browse till you find your part. Then go ahead, place the different views, adding alternate views if needed. And you're going to repeat that for all 9 parts. So you're going to have a total of 10 sheets by the time that you're done. Again, some of them might be beneficial to have a alternate view, so a section view or a detail. That is your guys's, call. Some will have more than your normal 3 views. Some will have less. Okay. Das ist alles.